you a fan of the Dragon Ball Super card game? If so, check out QueenCityGaming.com for sealed product, singles, and more. Just use promo code MafubaJar-10 to save 10% off your order every time.
Welcome back to Mafuba Jar. We've been sealed away for another awesome deck profile, and today I'm going to be profiling for you guys my new Demigra deck. Now, Demigra is a very, very interesting leader that we got from set 4. And the way he is worded and the way his skills work, the best way to play Demigra is to just build a pure mono black deck, which I personally did not think was going to be even possible until this leader came out, but pure black actually seems to work pretty well for him, because a lot of his effects require having nothing but black. So I mean, there's nothing technically stopping you from running other colors, but it's just easiest to run him with pure black for right now. But I'm sure we'll get cards and stuff in the future sets that'll make building decks with him a lot more simpler and like diverse. Because even though there are different ways to build Demigra, of course, but there's not going to be too much variety at the moment, if that makes sense. So let me go ahead and read off what the leader does here. Obviously, he's a black leader. And his auto is when this card attacks the leader, place 3 cards from the top of your deck in your drop area. If all the cards you place in your drop area were black, you could draw a card. So that right there is just one of the things to where running mono black works best for him. And when your life's at 4 or less, you tap 2, switch him to active, and you get Gaslight Malice Demigra. And he has the permanent skill Wormhole, which is amazing. You can activate Overrun and Dark Overrun up to 2 times a turn. So normally you can only use Overrun or Dark Overrun once per turn. Wormhole lets you do it twice. So that's really, really awesome. And when he attacks, he draws a card, of course. And his activate man is once per turn, choose 3 black cards from your warp and place them in your drop area. So he helps to recycle things from your warp, so you can keep using the Overrun and Dark Overrun. And just Wormhole is just such an amazing skill. Being able to overrun things multiple times a turn. And since most overruns don't really cost too much, it's really incredible. Just really, really incredible. So let's go ahead and see what the main deck has in store for us. So first off here, you're going to be running 4 copies of Time Control Corona. Now this is, of course, this could be our draw card of the deck. And she has Deflect, which is nice. And also your opponent can activate super combos that special summon battle cards from their hand. So basically shoot guess, which isn't really seeing much play anyways. But regardless, we gotta keep Demigra mono black and a black card that draws you a card. So of course, no reason not to run it. Next up, I've got 3 copies of Gravy and Demigra's Thrall. I don't know why they decided to name this guy Gravy. Like, I feel like Ed from Ed and Eddie named this guy, and I know I made that joke before, but why are you called Gravy? I don't know. But his auto is pretty good. When you attack or combo with this card, if your leader card is black, choose up to 2 cards in your warp and place them in your drop area. So it goes for even further recycling of the warp into the drop area, because we are going to be overwhelming a lot in this deck. That's like the main point of this deck. It's just constant overwhelm and dark overwhelm. And next up, staple card, Supreme Kai of Time, World's Protector. Super combo when you have 5 or more in your warp, which that's what this whole deck's about. So you're gonna be activating this card very quickly. And next up here is going to be Time's Choice, Supreme Kai of Time. Now she's an overrun of 3, and we play this card using overrun. Look at the top 3 cards you check. Choose up to 1 battle card among them, add it to your hand. Then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this searches any battle card, which is amazing. So any battle card whatsoever, doesn't matter what color, doesn't matter the trait, the energy cost, none of that matters. So that's really, really, really awesome. The fact you don't even have to tap in energy to play it too is just incredible. Next up here, could be running Time Trauma Mass, and now I have a love-hate relationship with this card. His auto is when you play this card, if your leader card is black, you may choose up to 2 cards in your life, add them to your hand. If you chose to add at least 1 or more cards to your hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and send it to the warp. So it's a really good way to awaken yourself if your opponent's stalling you out. And it does send one of your opponent's battle cards to the warp, which is nice. I just don't like that it's 3 energy. That's where I have my little love-hate relationship with this card. Because I pretty much have to tap myself out to play this guy. Or I guess I could play him late game. That's something you could do, but late game, there's other cards I want to be playing. And honestly, the best way to play this card is if you're like at 6 or 5, your opponent's stalling you out, and you don't have the other Self-Awakening card, you can play that, send something to your warp, and go ahead and tap 2 to awaken, and you only really spend 1 energy to use that, which isn't bad. It's just, I don't know, like I said, I really don't like to tap myself out, and there's just other cards I prefer to be playing. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad card by any means, just, that's what this whole love-hate thing gets in, and it's confusing. It's honestly confusing. So for the other Mass Sand card, the one I would prefer to awaken myself with is Increasing Evil Mass Sand. Overwhelm 4, I only have to tap 1 energy, and if I play this card using Overwhelm, choose a card in my life, add it to my hand, and choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards when energy costs of 5 or less and send it to the warp. So it does the same exact removal as this card right here, except I don't have to tap as much energy. I don't have to waste 1 energy to use that. That's why I prefer this card overall. But there are situations where Time Trauma can really come in handy. And next up here, I run 4 copies of the Dash Pack promo, Desperate Onslaught Bardock. I love this card so much. It's so awesome. He's a 4-drop, but he's an Overwhelm 5. He has permanent critical, so unlike the critical mirror that we got in a Dark Demon box, it's not based on Overwhelm. So he has critical permanently no matter what. And as always, if this card attacks during the turn you played it with Overwhelm, your opponent may not combo with battle cards from their battle area or activate blocker for the duration of the battle. So they can't block it and they can't combo from the battle area. I feel like comboing from the battle area, I mean, in some situations that could be annoying to your opponent. But honestly, I think it's fine because when I sat there and I actually looked at this card, if it stopped your opponent from comboing from their hand, and you all you had to do was just send 5 from your drop to warp, that would have been kind of busted. Like, pretty busted. So, it's fine. The main thing is that you can't activate blocker, which I think that's pretty cool. Not to mention it's critical. And Demigra has a lot of cards messing with your opponent's hand. So this, having a form of critical is really, really awesome. Next up here, I run 2 copies of Trunks Power Overseeing Time. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like 2 is always the magic number for me. I see some people run 3, 4. When I try those numbers, it just honestly bricked for me. If you want to add another Trunks Power Overseeing Time to your decks, go right ahead. It's a great card. It's just, for me personally, having 2 of this guy works best. Because the biggest thing you're going to get back is the Supreme Kai Time Super Combo. Of course, you can get any battle card you want, but I feel that's the most optimal one to get. And next up here is going to be 3 copies of Dimension Control Demigra. Now, this is one of the cards that messes with your opponent's hand. He's an Overrun before you tap an energy, and when this card attacks during the turn you're playing with Overrun, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and sends it to the warp. If that card was a battle card, combo with it in your combo area. So, it has your opponent pitch things from their hand, and it even gives it power to combo with. So that's really, really cool. Next up here, I run 2 copies of Dimensional Banisher Few. He's Overwhelm 5, tap 1, double strike, which is cool. And the others, when you play this card with Overwhelm, you send one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less. Actually, no, wait, it's anyone. I'm thinking the Mass Sand cards here. But no, it's any battle card of theirs to the warp. And you only have to send 5 to warp and tap 1, so that's really, really cool. Really, really awesome. And speaking of awesome Fews, Scientist Few is next. This is just a staple in black decks. You cannot have a black deck without this card right here. It's too good. Overwhelm 7, tap 1, double strike, draw 2 when you play it. Too good, too good. Alright, and now we're gonna get into our big game enders here. First off, I play 3 copies of Force Absorption Demigra that we just got in the Ultimate box. Now this one's pretty good. So he's a triple strike, and his auto is when this card attacks, if your leader card is a Demon God and you have 15 or more black cards in your warp, which you're gonna have, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and combo with them in your combo area. So he's already at 3k triple strike, which is pretty big, and it steals your opponent's battle cards in the battle area to combo with. And just the fact that it ignores barrier is so awesome. It's really, really cool. And speaking of a game-ending heavy hitter, that's right, we got one copy of the Ultimate Beyond Darkness Demigra. So he's an Ultimate, we can only have one of this guy in here. He's Dark Overwhelm and the only Dark Overwhelm in this deck. He's Dark Overwhelm of 7, you tap 5, he's Triple Strike, and he autos when this card attacks. If your opponent reveals their hand, choose up to 4 battle cards from it and combo with it in your combo area. So even if this, because even if your opponent negates this, the auto will still go off, because that was the ruling for the Trunks card that we got in set 2, and there is technically no such thing as a combo phase. It's just battle phase. So, not to mention the wording of the auto is that when he attacks, so negate or not, it's gonna pretty much steal your half your opponent's hand at least. And since it's Dark Overwhelm, he's not going anywhere, so it's really, really cool. Now, the other reason I don't play the other Dark Overwhelm cards in this deck is because they're kind of, most of the Dark Overwhelm cards are kind of underwhelming at the moment. Like, say for example, the super rare Demigra, that was a Dark Overwhelm 4. Yeah, it's nice to send something to warp, but honestly, we don't have many targets that make it worth getting. Like, the best targets we have is this guy right here, because he has critical. But you don't get your opponent can't activate blocker or combo from the battle area with it, because that only happens on Overwhelm. And another card that you could get is Trunks Power Overseeing Time, but I don't know. It's a double striker, so it's nice, but I can get out double strikers for paying less than 4. So that's my reason for not running that Demigra. And like I said, the other Dark Overwhelms, in my opinion, at the moment are kind of underwhelming. So hopefully we're gonna get much more powerful Dark Overwhelm cards in the future, but for right now, that's my personal reasoning for running only this one Dark Overwhelm card. If you guys want to run other Dark Overwhelm cards, by all means go for it. It's just, I'm not saying not to, that they're terrible or anything. It's just, as I said, my personal opinion, they're underwhelming. That's just my opinion, guys, though, so take it what you will. Now, for our extra cards here, we run 3 copies of Minus Keeley Zone. Being able to stop my opponent from playing counterplay is nice, so like Bloodlust and Crushable, they can't activate it. But also just having a free chance to draw a card is really, really awesome, because you send 3 from your drop to your warp, draw a card, and your opponent can't do that. So having a 0 cost to draw a card, I like that. I like that a lot. And next up here we have 3 copies of Seasoning Arrow. Now this is another way we're going to mess with our opponent's hand here. So it's an activate battle. If your leader card is Demigra, it gains 10,000 power for the duration of the battle. And if it's during your turn, your opponent then chooses 1 card from their hand and sends it to the warp. Then if that card is a battle card, combo with it in your combo area. So it's another way to steal cards from your opponent's hand. So, and there is a Dark Overwhelm Demigra that does do this too. It's just you have to tap 3 energy for it. And yeah, like I said, to me that was just a little bit underwhelming. And last but not least, we have 4 copies of Time's Judgment. Just because, of course, we need some forward in the game. This deck, some form of defense. And with that, that is going to do it for my Demigra deck profile. Like I said, there's a few other ways you could build this deck as well, but my recommendation is just keep it mono black for now. Unless, of course, you're able to come up with a way to make it still work amazingly with other colors, then by all means, go for it. You will be much smarter than me. But yeah, this is the way I chose to do Demigra, mainly focusing on Overwhelm and not Dark Overwhelm. But again, we do have Dark Overwhelm cards. If you want to do Dark Overwhelm with this deck, by all means, go for it. So, if you guys enjoyed this profile, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And with that, I'll be seeing you guys later. You all have a fantastic day. And with that, you have been released.